Good morning. Another beautiful, beautiful day to get better. So I seem to just always get these thoughts of the day as I'm walking. There's something powerful to just going on a walk and thinking. There's something to movement. There's really something to movement and thought and whatnot. But that might be just me. I don't know. But today's thought of the day. And again, I am entitled to my own opinion. Everybody is entitled to their own opinion. This is my opinion on this topic. As human beings, regardless of what sport you play, or if you're a regular gym goer, or if you're an athlete, first of all, to me, every single person that I talk to, every single person that I work with, every single person that I come across, to me is an athlete in some way, shape, or form. There is something that you are trying to get better at. There is something that you are trying to become a higher performer at. And so in that case, you are an athlete, whether it is physical, something mental, something emotional, something spiritual. You are an athlete. We are all athletes. So when I say athlete, I'm talking about everybody. But regardless of what you are, when it comes to physical training, run, jump, and throw should never leave the program. Now, here's what I mean by that, because run, jump, and throw are very broad terms, right? The word. So let's break them down. Run to me is anything. So when I say run, it is anything in locomotion at higher velocities than walking. So for example, my walk that I'm going on right now, I would not put this in the category of run. You should do it. You should definitely 100% go on walks and walk. It's very beneficial, but I would not call it run. If I pick up the pace a little bit, turn it into a jog, or actually, start running, then that is run. So run to me is anything in locomotion faster than walking. Jump would be anything, any variation of you are trying to either get farther away from the ground or trying to gain ground in a single or multiple fast efforts. Plyometrics, single leg hopping, double leg hopping, broad jumps, vertical jump, box jumps, depth drops, landing. I would put into this category landing, jumping side to side, jumping up and over things, anything in that category. So again, anything where you are putting forth a high amount of force into the ground for you to leave the ground. Then there's throw. Throw is two hands, one hand behind your head. Any kind of object that you're doing, you are exerting some kind of force against something to either throw it for height or throw it for distance. Okay, so those are just broad categories. In some way, shape, or form, regardless of what you do, or regardless of what you would label yourself as. So some people will call themselves a bodybuilder. Some of them people will call themselves a power lifter. Others would be soccer player, basketball, football, rugby, whatever sport you play. Run, jump, and throw should never leave your program at any point in the year. Now, on the contrary with that, there are different capacities of it. Like for example, okay, let's say that you are a power lifter, all right, and you are in an 8-week prep and you have a competition that's 8 weeks out. Okay, you're still far enough out that you could put some run, jump, and throw in, but it's definitely not going to be at the same capacity. Like it could be just a little thing you do as a part of your warm-up. Like maybe it's, two 40-yard build-ups, maybe 10 box jumps to kind of get the nervous system ramped up, and then, 10 med ball throws. for height or something like that, right? So not at a higher capacity, because obviously you're going for something very specific. Like your whole goal and the whole goal of what you are prepping for is to move the most amount of weight that you possibly can. So obviously it will be specific to times of the year, but throughout your training cycle, throughout your entire training year, run, jump, and throw should be in there and in your program and never leave your program in some shape or capacity. Even with bodybuilders, even with, bowlers or other athletes that you would think, why the hell do I need to run, jump, and throw? Well, run, jump, and throw are basic human capacities. Like, we were meant to be able to do those things. You look across all of human history, and human history just has all of these displays of run, jump, and throw for basic function of life. Like, if we were hunting, we had to run after something. We probably had to jump over some trees, clear some creek beds, different things like that. And then we had to throw a spear, or we had to, throw something at the animal to kill it, right? They're just basic human capacities that we have. And one of the things that you kind of notice as well, like especially if you go and you're kind of, one of those more like regular gym goers, you'll see that, and you'll talk to people, they'll be like, oh man, like, you shouldn't deadlift, like, because it's bad for your back, or, you shouldn't squat with your knees over your toes, because it's bad for your knees, and da-da-da-da. Well, you notice that a lot of those folks and a lot of those people, that's all that they've done. Like, all they've done is squat, bench, deadlift, clean and jerk, snatch. They've only done bodybuilding type things. They've only done those certain kind of movements. And then you ask them to one, get out and do other things. And it looks like they haven't really truly moved in a long time, or they just have these different aches and pains that, it just always essentially come from overuse. And overuse can also be put into those categories of run, jump, and throw. Like, if you only do a ton of throwing, then your elbow is going to hate you. Your shoulders are going to eventually start to hate you. If you only jump, it will beat your knees up. It will do all those kinds of things. If you only run, and you just put a massive amount of load into your running, then yes, your shins will probably start to come back and bite you. Your ankles, your feet, maybe your hips start to bother you a little bit. So human beings, we were meant for variability and moderation. So we were never meant to do a ton of one particular thing. We were meant to do a broad spectrum of different movements. And so when I say run, jump, lift, or run, jump, throw never leaves the program, that could be one day you run far, jump far, and throw far, and then another day you run faster, jump higher, and throw high. And then maybe it's another day you're actually playing a sport, where you go play basketball, where you have a combination of all of the three, or you go out and play pickleball and tennis or something along those lines. That should be in every human being's program in some way, shape, or form, in some capacity. I believe personally this not only will reduce some of those kind of aches and pains that come from really only lifting and only being in the gym and only squat, bench, and deadlift, or only snatch and clean and jerk, but it will also give you just a bigger capacity to be able to do more of those things. Because you notice also that a lot of times, like, I think one of my favorite quotes, and it was Buddy Morris. Buddy Morris said it, and he said, if powerlifting made you $50 million If there were millions and millions of dollars in powerlifting, all of today's powerlifters would be out of a job because all of the guys in the NFL would come in and take their jobs because they are just built to be monstrous. And you notice that they have the capacity to run, jump, and throw very often. And it just happens to benefit everything else that they do as well. So, again, having those basic human capacities also benefit the more specific thing that you're trying to do as well. So since we're a little bit picking on powerlifters, if you are a powerlifter and run, jump, and throw is not in your program, include it in your off-season program for like an 8-week block and really just focus on building general athleticism and watch what happens when you go back to kind of more of your body your powerlifting prep, and just watch your capacity for the ability to do more work and more weight, more volume, all that stuff all go up. It's amazing of what happens when we actually give the body moderation and variability over a decent period of time. Again, we were designed and meant to do all of those things and be able to complete all of those tasks in some way, shape, or form. So, athletes, again, like I said at the beginning, athletes are everybody. So everybody who's watching this, if you are listening, you are an athlete. I'm considering you an athlete. Run, jump, and throw never leaves your program, regardless of the time of the year. It always stays in some capacity. It can be a lower volume. Sometimes it'll be a higher volume. Sometimes the year it'll be higher intensities. Sometimes of the year it'll be lower intensities. But do not ever let run, jump, and throw leave your program for any significant period of time. It is important that we keep those in, and again, they are basic functions of human movement. So with that, signing off, run, jump, throw never leaves the program. Have a great day.